of setup or control with them. Of course, the Earth Splitter are also going to be very effective against a tanky hero like the Bristleback, but the biggest issue, I think, is that natural order. We'll see that come into play for sure. And now Toxic Idiots in the next set of bans. There's still a Gyrocopter in the pool for whatever team wants to go for him. That hero is very high contention. Toxic Idiots, though, will remove a natural Bristleback counter in the form of the Viper, who was, I think, always decent against Bristle, just because you can kite the hero so much. But now that he has a break as of 7.07, I believe, whatever the December patch was.
10 seconds remaining.
And losing Bristleback's Bristleback is the hero becomes incredibly easy to kill off. He loses a huge chunk of his damage, and you really don't want to have to deal with that. So getting rid of heroes like that Night Stalker, definitely a good call. Sorry, like that Viper. I looked at Night Stalker, who pretty good against Coddle. Especially if you want to play the Vision game, and I think Night Stalker does a lot more earlier than Keeper, unless you're able to land those Illuminate blasts. Metaphor taking some time in their next ban. Again, that Gyro's still there, a hero that either of these teams would want. I think it goes pretty nicely on the Radiant draft, though. You have some good wave clear, good AoE, set up for the call down thanks to the other Titan stomp, more team fight ability, a good mix of physical and magical damage. Not to mention the slow from call down pierces spell immunity, so it would allow him to kite the Bristleback a little bit more effectively and keep him zoned out in these team fights. And they already have so many strong zoning tools. And TI are really going to struggle, I think, in this game to get that Bristle into effective position when you've got to deal with Kinetic Field, Glimpse, Titan Stomp, Earth Splitter, and if you're the Radiant, if you're Metaphor, then you probably just want to continue to kite that Bristle. Make it basically a non-existent hero, or pick up a natural Silver Edge building hero like the Dragon Knight on your side as well. Also, the heavy armor on him makes him really, like he can man up against Bristle a little bit. Getting all that nice armor. Now Radiant going to be banning out that Queen of Pain, and Toxic Idiots right away grabbing a Shadow Shaman. So some strong push. The Shaman Ward's also great at taking Roche, killing heroes, of course. Some good crowd control, something they were sort of lacking, not even sort of, really lacking with their first two picks. They just had a slow, the Coddle Blind, and of course Mana Leak, all unreliable or inconsistent, and often not enough to catch enemy heroes. But Shaman has so much crowd control just built into his own kit that they have more, in my eyes, have compensated a fair amount for the lack of CC on the other two heroes. And of course, they have two more picks, and we'll see what they decide to go for after we see this Radiant pick come up. I, again, would really like to see a Gyrocopter come out from the Radiant. That hero is incredibly good, and it's interesting to see him actually being ignored in a draft. I suspect he will be picked or banned by one of these two teams. They could also go for something like a Life Stealer, although it's not great against Bristleback, but they're going to grab an incredibly strong offlaner in the Abyssal Underlord. A crazy good wave clear, can zone out pretty much any core with Firestorm. Very tanky, and his ult has some game-changing potential as well.
10 seconds remaining.
TI themselves could definitely fit a Gyro into their draft. There's really, I can't think of a draft that I don't want to pick Gyro in if we're assuming that the draft is balanced in the sense that they don't have, 5 carries. But they're taking their sweet time and figuring this out, looking for their mid and their safe laner, likely to pick, let's see, with Shadow Fiend banned. Dragon Knight still available. You have Death Prophet, Puck. They could run a Razor mid, but that's really fallen out of favor for the safe lane Razor. And TI grab that Juggernaut for themselves. A lot of damage, goes great with the Shadow Shaman, of course, and one of the few heroes that can lane decently well against the Underlord, and M4 are going to pick up a Razor for themselves, likely to be their safe lane. And I think that hero is great against Bristleback. In the sense that he probably beats Bristle in the lane pretty badly. Bristle does pretty good against melee heroes. It could be a mid-Razor, though. Definitely want to keep our eyes open for that possibility. But Razor can pretty easily drain Bristleback until he gets points in Nasal Goo. And the Nasal Goo animation is also so long that you can't really efficiently turn against Razor and say, I'm going to spit goo on you. And until he gets points, probably at least 2 points in the bristleback, he's going to get beat pretty badly by the Razor Whip. Laser Whip. Heh. Now into the next set of bans, Terrorblade removed by Toxic Idiots, and it looks like they're perhaps anticipating a mid lane Razor as they have banned that Terrorblade. Metaphor, if they want to do that mid Razor, I think it's actually going to be pretty good for them. Razor matches mostly well against a few of the popular mids, might struggle against something like a Death Prophet a little bit, because she has much better poke than he does.
5 seconds remaining.
But if it is a safe lane Razor, I could see Death Prophet for them. I could see Dragon Knight is looking really good for Metaphor. It's great against Juggernaut's ult, and he's just good against physical damage heroes. The Dragon form lets them hit towers, something they're not awesome at yet, unless Razor goes for Ags, or Underlord gets the tower damage talent for his Firestorm. And yeah, it's a good objective hitting hero. And again, that's just something they kind of lack. They could also, of course, go for like a Death Prophet, although less uptime in her objective hitting. Exorcism massacres objectives like Roshan, towers, heroes, of course.
Radiant team pick.
And then OD banned out by the Radiant themselves. Would have been a fine pick. Really good against the Underlord. And they're going to go for a Chaos Knight. So it is the mid Razor and a safe lane CK. A lot of damage. When his ult is up, hits towers very, very effectively. And we'll see how he goes up against this Bristleback. They're going to need... They may not have any Silver Edge carriers, but I don't think they really need one with the Elder Titan reducing all of the resistances of Bristleback. They also have so many positioning abilities like Disruptor's Glimpse, Kinetic Field, the Elder Titan's Sleep, the Reality Rift, ways to move that Bristleback around the battlefield. And I know I've been talking about this Bristle a lot, but it really does appear like it's going to be... It's either going to be really good or it's going to be really bad, I think, for Toxic Idiots. It's one of those heroes that just has all of the impact in the world or really none at all. So we'll see how it ends up going out for them, playing out for them. I'm with the Shaman and the Coddle of enabling the double bristle spray. It's going to be pretty good. But as a draft as a whole, I do like what Metaphor have done, and Toxic Idiots not a ton of options for mid. I think Death Prophet or Dragon Knight probably their best choice. Might want to stay away from another melee core. Storm Spirit also in the pool. There's not... I'm lying. There's a lot of control for a hero like Storm, but they're going to grab that Tinker instead.
All we need is a hero.
It's decent, but it's mostly good. But they do have a lot of vision tools like the Elder Titan, the Kinetic Field, Glimpse, Plasma Field. They can find this hero and they can get a nasty hold of him. So we'll see if he wins his mid, and I think he probably beats Razor pretty badly. Since Razor can drain all the damage in the world, but it doesn't matter if you've blinded him. Liking the look of both of these drafts. I'm gonna have to favor that Radiant draft. It just looks so well-rounded. No incredibly overt weakness besides hitting towers. Something that Toxic Idiots are going to do very, very well. They push very quickly, and their team fight also looking decent. But I mean, it's so scary fighting up against an Elder Titan and the Disruptor in team fights. However, with Keeper of the Light throwing out those blinds and Tinker just erasing supports from the game and all that control the Shadow Shaman offers, they do have some potential. But we're now getting into the game, so all of our questions and more will soon be answered. Toxic Idiots versus M21 in Game 1 of this best of 3 playoff for the Learn Dota 2 League. On the side of the Radiant, playing the Underlord, the Uberlord, as some have taken to calling him, his Element. Then on the Elder Titan, Luke Whipperwillow. I'm just going to call him Luke. M4. We've got Lava on the Razor, made of lightning, not lava. Diva D playing Chaos Knight. On this Disruptor, we have Samurai Bennett. Meanwhile, on the Dire side of the map, arguably the villains of this story with a team name like Toxic Idiots, Mainu playing the Keeper of the Light. Kyrix on the Bristleback. NTPK playing Juggernaut. Tinker, one of the most despised heroes in Dota, being played by De Bruyne. And then on Rasta, Ekshal. Looks like the Radiant are looking to contest this rune a little bit. They did get their smoke broke, so they know people are nearby. They do have an Echo Stomp, and they could set something up for it. They're going up right now. They're caught the Shadow Shaman inside that root as well. The stun, just 1 second, but a ton of damage. The spin doing whatever he can, but he's going to have to disengage and leave his friend to die. And Ld2L collecting that first blood, and that means that bounty rune likely to go to the way of the Radiant as well. But it looks like that they responded by trying to pressure this bottom bounty rune. And the looks of things are an aggro tri-lane, and they've got the tools to do it. I really like that they're running this lane like this. You've got tons of control, respectable damage. Will make things very, very difficult. And what's more is Underlord matches pretty well against Bristleback just because of that Firestorm. He blocked that camp. I wonder. I mean, he's not going to pull, but I just wonder why he did that, why he blocked it instead of just dewarding. We'll be fine. This is a good lane for Element. And yeah, they're already moving lanes. A good response from Toxic Idiots, recognizing that, all right, Bristle's not going to have a good time against Underlord, and an aggro tri-lane will wreak havoc on our Juggernaut. We'll see if they want to move for this or if they're going to stick around. I think I'd like to see them stick because this Coddle, very squishy. Once they get Glimpse, once they get this Titan Spirit and a Reality Rift, probably a pretty easy kill for them. Oh, the Echo Stomp coming out. And yeah, just bullying this Bristle a bit. Though Bristle, not the most farm dependent, however, but they get the Shackles and the spin off on the Underlord, killing him off rather quickly. It's a simple matter. And what would have been an easy lane against the Bristleback is suddenly a lot more complicated for the Underlord. And yeah, they're moving lanes. They recognize, you know what, this is not the place for us to be. And I wonder if they'll move once again. Juggernaut running off to the side shop, grabs his brown boots. Only level 1 still on this Chaos Knight. Elder Titan hanging out at the top lane for the time being. I imagine we'll see him come down because Disruptor not great at solo supporting a lane. Shackles coming out. They do have spin, but not enough mana for it. The kinetic field should disengage them. But Dd going to be forced to use his salve. Meanwhile, up at the top lane, they're trying to find this Keeper of the Light. Luke has found him. He doesn't have an Echo Stomp available, but Bristleback now in the area doesn't actually have enough mana to pop those Quill Sprays, but gets, oh, a nice Pit of Malice coming out. The Stomp coming in. Needs to be cautious. If he gets hit by one more Quill Spray, that could be the end of him. Just take a lot of bonus damage from that, but now the Element himself in serious trouble. He does have a magic stick, so can get that charges off to keep himself alive, and will be A-okay. These lanes not looking great so far in terms of trades for the Radiant. Taking a look at the mid lane, though. Doing practically exactly even on farm. One thing to note is they don't really have any way to disengage the Shackles if it's onto the Chaos Knight down here in this lane. Could be problematic.
Next time.
Reality Rift is online. We'll see if they want to do anything with this, but I don't think they actually have kill potential against the Jug Spin. Coddle Blast coming in. Getting Element low. He still has his 10 stick charges. I don't think he wants to use them right then, though. Elder Titan has returned to base. We'll see if he decides to stick around or up top, or if he decides to come down to the bot lane. But it looks like Shadow Shaman wrapping around. No, spotted out. The Elder Titan has arrived here in the bottom lane. Echo Stomp. Does connect onto both. It looks like they may find somebody in the Shadow Shaman getting caught in that kinetic field. The spin available once again, doing a lot of damage for MTP. But X-Shaw getting extremely low. One more hit will do the trick. The Shackle's trying to keep Luke in place. Luke trying to get out of here. The tower shot looks like it's going to follow him, and he's going to go down. And D.Va himself very, very low, but they don't have a mana leak available. They get the Chakra Magic onto NTP, but he doesn't have any, like, no spin for 26 seconds. D.Va should be fine. A 1-for-1 trade. Only killing that Shadow Shaman, so support for support. Relatively even so far in this game. The Element getting bullied by this Bristleback. Starting to get those points in the Firestorm may change things a little bit, but that remains to be seen. Mid lane going reasonably well for both, but actually up top, Kyrex finding a solo kill on the Uberlord. Not the way they want that to go, and Bristle having a good time which I think is a good omen for Toxic Idiots. DD picked up by Xshal as well, and the Shadow Shaman's base damage is insanely high. Don't know what Mainu is doing up here. Looking for a Coddle Blast on the Razor. Does find it, but Tinker not in position to follow up. And oh, actually, Mainu, you may just have killed yourself, but no, should be okay. Pops this Fairy Fire. The Echo Stomp comes in, puts Tinker to sleep. Risky maneuver from that Keeper of the Light, but he does manage to survive. Following Xshal with the DD rune. It's about to wear out. He wants to get somebody. Has the Shackles, gets it on Chaos Knight, gets the Glimpse away to cancel that. Nicely done, but Diva D taking a lot of damage for NTPK's Blade Fury. The field will block him in, but now they've stunned him. Just 1 second though, so he's fine for now, but they do have that Reality Rift as well. Popping it, getting onto the Shadow Shaman. Instead, they decide to go for that target, but the Shackle's coming back out again. Right clicks on an NTP, he pops his Healing Ward, and the Chaos Bolt is available once again, but I don't know if they want to engage against that Healing Ward. Elder Titan is here as well. He has the Spirit. I think they saw him. They don't have mana for Shackles. He's looking for Xshal. Finds him, but I don't know if they have any way to kill him. I don't know if they want to go in on that, keep their light back down here, and now it's a try situation. And Diva a little low. Coming out, they may want to try to get a move onto him. Diva taking a lot of damage from the Illuminate Blast. The Echo Stomp coming out, but it's not. I don't think they can kill this Juggernaut. Yeah, he's just going to be able to spin it all off. Meanwhile, up top, it looks like Element doing his best to try to maybe cut the wave, but now in danger of getting killed off by the Burst Soul. Fortunately for him, he is out of mana. More Illuminate Blast flying, but don't connect on anyone this time. Mainu can chakra himself. They're trying to find a Shackle, but they do have ways to cancel. Elder Titan roaming around a lot. And CS, we take a quick look at that, all favoring the Dire. So the Radiant starting to fall behind just a little in this game. A 2k gold lead now building up for Toxic Idiots. Stomp coming in, does connect onto the Shadow Shaman. That should be a pretty easy kill for them. The Reality Rift him out, but he's trying to run away. The Hex was onto the Chaos Knight, taking a ton of damage from the Blade Fury from the Juggernaut. In fact, a lot of them are. They need to be careful. The Glimpse back on the Jugs, but it's not going to be enough. Diva going to go down. I don't think they can kill NTP. In fact, Luke himself in serious trouble. The Stomp comes off just in a time. Juggernaut should be okay. Fortunately for them, he's not level 6. But they already got one kill, and oh, a nice Illuminate Blast. Doesn't manage to connect onto Mainu the Creeps, spotting him out, so he's able to maneuver properly on Luke. And now they're looking for Coddle with the Reality Rift and the rank 2 Chaos Bolt. The farm for the CK is alright, but it's not as good as the other heroes, the enemy cores, I should say. Razor also beginning to fall a little bit behind the Tinker, but I think that's to be expected and likely going to be a recurring theme throughout this game, as Tinker just flash farms a lot better than Razor. That hero relies on, I mean, Plasma Field, I suppose, can clear waves, but mostly just good old-fashioned right-clicking. Keeper of the Light gets spotted, not in any danger though. NTPK looking really good on this Juggernaut at the moment, going for his phase boots. Hasn't started a B Fury yet, but may not even go for a Battle Fury, as a lot of Jugs, yeah, he's just going to go right for that Yasha, just the full-on early fighting build. Doesn't really care to farm. And now Omni Slash online. They have to be incredibly careful about that. Lava doing much better in this lane than I thought he would against Tinker. Tinker is a pretty big lane bully. The Chaos Ball coming out, but spun off. The Echo Stomp not going to latch onto the Juggernaut. He's still spinning anyways, but now they get the glimpse. He does have an Omni Slash available, but they do miss that kinetic field, and man, now they need to be careful onto him. The Chaos Knight going to pull back Xshal, but NTP should be just fine.
Dire's top
Coddle
tower
now down
is
here.
on top of things.
And again, they still have Omni Slash, which could just blow up any one of these supports. Chaos Knight may survive, but Elder Titan dies, and Disruptor also very likely to die. Up top, things are starting to shape up a lot better for 7th Element. He did die a couple times this game, but now at the top of the CS. Unsurprising. Oh, a nice stomp coming out, putting this guy to sleep, and now the reality bringing him back. Shaw getting very, very low. The spin, trying to do as much damage as he can before he gets that Omni Slash going. And it's going to be a big one, I think, if he gets it off in time. Luke going to go down just the right clicks. Now the Omni Slash, a double for NTP. Looks like he wants some more, but I don't think he can continue pursuit. And a 2-for-1, heavily favoring TI. They have to be so careful fighting up against this Jug spin. So many fights. Let's look at that recap. He did 2,000 damage. And so much of that came from the spin, and obviously the Omni Slash as well. But they stood in that spin for almost the whole duration of it. And that's not the only time they've done that. An incredibly risky fight going against this Jug like that. And it's resulted in multiple kills for him. He's 4-0-1. But they do have the Static Storm available now. Actually, Chaos Knight a level behind his Disruptor. Not what you want to see. Reality Rift, try to get that damage, but now the spin. Hitting really hard that max spin. They need to be so careful against the Shaman, who now has his wards, and more importantly, the Shackles can trap you inside the Jug spin, doing a respectable amount of damage over time themselves. It's like Underlord TP'd back to his tower when spotted by the Keeper of the Light. The mid matchup still roughly even. Ooh, Razor trying to find a kill onto De Bruyne, but he's going to be fine. Oh, the Echo Stomp might get him. He's incredibly low, and just an easy matter for Razor to walk up and kill him off. Actually killed off by the Unstable Current. A nice pickup in that mid lane on that Tinker for the Razor will allow him to get some more CS, get ahead of that Tinker a bit. Good stun onto the Juggernaut, but they need to be careful. X-Shaw is here, does have the Shackles, the Ether Shock as well, and this looks like a dead Disruptor. I don't think he gets out of this one alive. Yep. Ether shocked to finish him off. So this lane is not going well at all for the Radiant. It looked like it could have been fine, but they had a lot of rotating going on. The other Titan not sticking around. Of course, Hero is a very strong roamer, so I'm not suggesting he should have stuck around. But it's just been difficult. It just feels like it's been difficult for them to find any fights, even with the Elder Titan there. And they have been able to apply that much pressure. The Juggernaut, third on farm, well ahead of that CK by about 14 last hits. His Yasha almost complete. The Spirit spotting out X-Shaw, trying to get that stomp up. It does snatch onto the Juggernaut. Razor is here. They get guns back onto the Shadow Shaman. He's getting extremely low. They turn their attention on NTPK, but he does have his ultimate throwing it out. But there's so many heroes around, he's not able to get any real damage off. And he's going to go down the Static Storm just for good measure. And a nice rotation from Lava. And a killing spree ended by Disruptor. Good 2 kills, very quick and easy for them. Just as I was saying, they weren't able to find anything. They find 2 nice kills. But will that affect the overall net worth? We still see Juggernaut at the top, followed by that Bristleback, but close to Bristle is that Underlord. Those 3 cores, though, on the Radiant side, on the M21 side, gunning for those Dire cores, want to get that top net worth slot, and just pull their team ahead. And a mere 1k gold lead in favor of the Dire isn't anything to be super impressed by. Minute gonna take some tower shots. They have potential. Once that mech comes out, they're gonna be really, really tanky. Reality Rift, just a 1 second stun, or not, that's Chaos Bolt, just a 1 second stun. Second rotation into the mid lane, they get the Hex onto the other Titan. They have Shackles, but I don't think there's any real kill potential on him. Up top, the Underlord hasn't pointed his ult yet. Not typical to get it early unless it's an emergency to pick it up. Usually we do just see them max out the Rain of Fire, the Atrophy Aura. It comes back into that Pit of Malice. What's worse, inside the Kinetic Field as well. He's going to get rooted again. The Razor ult doing a lot of damage, shredding his armor. He's still rooted, but a lot of ticks coming out from his Quill Flurry. The Plasma Field doing a lot. Do they actually get this kill? One more hit and Razor finds him, but man, was it a close one, taking so much damage from those Quills. And they get a nice tower deny. And this the reality, the Chaos Bull harass onto the Jugs from the CK. He needs to be really careful around this Juggernaut though. Once Omni Slash is up, there is solo kill potential. He's a full level and a half, almost 2 levels behind the Juggernaut.
Fortunes change.
So Chaos Knight struggling a bit, it feels like, to really get going. This hero does not come back very well. Similarly to Razor, he needs a good start. They get the root onto Eggshell. The Stomp also going to connect onto one. The root keeping him trapped now. The Static Storm in the kinetic field. The Firestorm doing a lot of damage to Bristleback. He needs to be cautious. And they're going to back off after just losing their Shadow Shaman. But still, heavy commitments for each of these kills coming out from the Radiant. But now they've called their Uber driver. And they're rotating down to the bot lane. Perhaps they want to bait NTP. The Reality Rift, or the Chaos Bolt catches him. The Stomp, not going to connect because he has that spin going. He needs to TP out of here, though. They have more than one hero, and they're getting a rotation coming in. They don't have the Earth Splitter, and a glimpse back. He's trapped. He has the ult, but I don't know if it's going to matter. He throws it out for just a desperation, but desperation is all it is, and he dies. A nice rotation. The Radiant suddenly coming online. Rotating very efficiently around the map and catching heroes off guard, using that Underlord ult immediately after their first kill up at that top lane. Coming to the bot, I don't think Jug was expecting that at all. Now barely a 1k gold lead in favor of the Dire as they're starting to get it. Oh, what a nice sleep. The Earth Splitter coming in. They're trapped in a kinetic field. How much damage is that going to do? It hurts them both real bad. The Firestorm, too. I don't think they're getting out of this one. Reality Rift, Chaos Bolt, and you're done for. Double kill for Sashay, Luke, Whippoorwillow dancing on their graves. Now the tier 1 bot looks like it's going to be going down. The next creep wave coming in. They have tons of wave clear as well. They don't kill towers themselves very quickly, but they have decent wave clear just with the Underlord alone.
Ending.
And now Underlord second on the net worth, right behind that Juggernaut. While Razor beginning to catch up to the Bristleback as well. Suddenly a game on our hands, but the Radiant could run away with it. Their draft again. These heroes don't farm that fast, but they're also heroes that don't need a whole lot of farm. These heroes are very, very good just with a 1 or 2 items, some levels, getting their talents, especially Chaos Knight with his ultimate. But don't get me wrong, he scales great with items, but an armlet and a manta, that's like all that hero needs. Razor also relying more on his static link, which is great against Juggernaut. He's able to stick on that hero pretty nicely. Even though he can spin during the link, he still loses damage in that time. Although, it's not like a Razor counters Juggernaut type situation, as you do have spin and a glimpse back onto the Shadow Shaman. And yeah, this is not where you want to be. Bad weather over here as he's killed in that Static Storm. The mechanism also completed on the Underlord will allow for them to get some serious mileage in team fights. TPK spots them. There isn't a glimpse here. They're trying to get the sleep. He pops that spin. They have the drain going. Drums completed on the Razor. He pops, trying to pursue as fast as he can, draining 112 damage to Plasma Field. He needs to be cautious. I believe he spotted out Kyrix coming. He's trying to back off. He has Nasal Goo, but the range relatively short. It'll be difficult to get it onto this Razor. And even if you do, I don't know if you actually want to continue that fight. Another thing to note in terms of advantage that I think the Radiant have is they have so much more catch than the Dire. Ooh, this Echo Stomp canceled. He doesn't want to get himself caught. Razor getting body blocked. Uberlord coming in with reinforcements. The Echo Stomp catches on 2 heroes. This could be bad. The Earth Splitter flying in as well. Underlord with the Disruptor as well as the Chaos Knight. Oh, what a disaster! Excellent rotation from that Underlord. Kyrix trapped in that field, and they get the glimpse. He gets another one. They may not be able to get that They may not be able to get the Versal back, but a nice Omni Slash from NTPK. Cook's reaction, finding him off with the Reality, pulling him back. The healing, we're not going to do enough. Getting a consolation kill on that Razor and escaping on their Bristle. Things looked like they were going to turn out so much worse, but quick thinking and fast fingers result in a nice, not even trade, but a trade for Toxic Idiots. But an M21 probably not as happy with that as they were planning to be. Definitely not worth celebrating your Razor's death, especially not when it's the Juggernaut that kills him. Back chasing down Luke. Pit of Malice, traps him in place, have Kinetic Field. But as I was saying, there's just a lot of catch and control on the Radiant side that the Dire don't really have. You've got Glimpse, Kinetic Field, Pit of Malice, Echo Stomp, Reality Rift. There's so many ways to keep your heroes in one place, while over here, it's just Mana Leak, Hex, and Shackles, really. Oh, they pop the smoke right away. They get Hex off onto one, but they don't know if they want to go up on this. Kinetic Field comes out. The Static Storm as well. He has a glimpse. Hasn't used it yet. I don't know if Bristle's the target that they should be after. The Pit of Malice coming in. They do have a Firestorm in just 1 second. They put about Shaman Wards down. And it looks like this fight might just be a disengage from both sides. Both sides committing a lot for it. The Static Storm, Shaman Wards. all coming out for that
Dire's
engagement,
top
but both
tower
teams will
is
back
under
off.
attack.
Neither one wants to fight in such an awkward location. I do want to note, oh, sorry about this lag. My bad. I've been having some minor internet issues here and there the past couple of days. It should be gone. Looks like it was just a brief stutter. We are loaded right back into the game. Take a look at these overall net worths. Doesn't look like we missed anything at all. Maybe Coddle did just die. Yeah, that's a new one. Apologies. Let's hope it doesn't happen again. But still, things looking pretty even. A meager 1K gold lead at 20 minutes for M21. TI definitely not out of this game yet. They have a ton of damage potential. And that tanker, we haven't really seen him come into these fights yet. We haven't seen him get involved at all, really. He's died a couple times, but again, we just haven't seen this guy get into these skirmishes. It's largely been without that tinker. Once he comes in, that could be that little bit of balance shift that they need. That March of the Machines doing a lot of damage, and of course the rocket and laser nukes as well.
Dire's middle tower is under fire.
Trying to get this mid tier 1. M21 need to be cautious, Razor especially. Echo Stomp comes in, catches on one hero, just the Juggernaut, so we get that Earth Splitter flying forward. It does manage to latch the Static Storm as well. He's caught in that, but man, Razor getting way too aggressive, gonna die to the Tinker. NTP still gonna lie, but Diva finding a kill. Now Kyrix trying to pursue enemy supports and heroes, but he's gonna goes back to the other side. They do get that tower, but now it's Diva who could be in trouble. A nice Echo Stomp to buy time for his teammates and a kinetic field as well to zone them out. So just a 1-for-1 trade, but Razor for the Shadow Shaman favoring the Dire. However, they did lose the tier 1 mid and top lane. So an even exchange and netting a total of a 2K gold lead in favor of the Radiant. But that fight, again, they killed the Razor and only lost the Shaman, so it's very much worthwhile for Toxic Idiots in that exchange.
Isn't well at the moment.
Echo Saber going to be the next item for this Chaos Knight. Tinker with his blink going to be able to farm a lot more safely around the map. Let's see if they're able to deal with him. They have lots of tools to find vision on him, especially in the form of this Elder Titan. Now that's their biggest one, but Kinetic Field does give vision. I'm not sure if it's inside it. Yeah, okay, it's inside the circle, not just at the edge of the circle. Plasma Field also providing vision, so they do have ways. And Glimpse, of course, can keep Tinker, if you get it cast in time, keep Tinker from slipping away.
At last.
I think Shaw picking up a haste rune. His ult back up. Might want to go for this Razor. Backs off. Razor pops the Eye of the Storm. They're pinging him out. Underlord also coming up this high ground. They have an Omni Slash available. Need to be cautious. Pit of Malice not yet used. The Drain dealing about 63 damage. So not a ton of damage, but still a respectable amount. And the Echo Saber just picked up by Diva. Can you imagine how painful those double crits might be? Looks like we do have a brief pause as Razor has disconnected. Sorry, I'm opening up my water bottle. Anyways, game still really even. Let's look at this XP. Basically, XP is practically dead even. Gold, 2K gold is almost nothing. It's basically nothing at 22 minutes. It's half of an item for 2 of your heroes, or half of an item for 1 of your heroes. It's really insignificant. So this game could turn on a razor's edge. Well, they're going to let that one sink in a bit while we get that unpause going. There's some good vision on the Dire side, though, over here, spotting out these Radiant heroes who spent a lot of time on this bottom half of the map, it feels like. Minu, though, closing in on that Aghanim Scepter, only 1K gold away, and that is a game-changing item for Keeper of the Light. He is spotted, though, so they should be aware that he's getting close to that, and there's Smoke Gang going to try to find some enemy heroes if they can. Lurking on the high ground up here, a good place to be. I wonder if they were spotted. Did they smoke under that ward? The Dire Toxic Idiots playing very, very carefully. Not getting spotted. The Firestorm coming in, and Underlord tanking a lot of that Tinker damage. Needs to be careful. May want to consider a pipe after grabbing his Greaves. So this Underlord, he died twice in lane, but he is very farmed now and has had some really good Dark Rifts. I've been fairly impressed with the usage of that spell. It's a spell that either does nothing or does a whole lot, but it looks like Shadow Shaman getting put to sleep, and now Razor whipping him down. The Plasma Field not doing a lot as he is melee range, and they're going to be careful, going to back off. Pop that Earth Splitter, though. Not sure that was worthwhile. He's spending a lot of resources for a kill that didn't happen. Well, really, just that Earth Splitter, but it is a fairly high-impact spell. Great against the Bristleback, one of their best tools against him, I believe. That's max HP damage, and it's half magical, half physical. Yes? Yes. Yeah, 30% of your max HP, 15% physical, 15% magical. So with the natural order, that hurts. Definitely one of their more impactful teamfight spells, and they have all the tools they need to keep the enemies in place. The laser going to get that blind, means tower damage not going to be quite there. Luke needs to be careful. Still no point in a mana leak. Oh, and the reality of back, CK eats this Keeper of the Light. He's really tanky, able to do that. Pops his ultimate, NTP, able to spin out of that, thank goodness, because that was a ton of damage now going after the Bristol. Ooh, a nice wards trapping inside D.Va. D.Va needs to be able to reality, but he's going to go down to the wards, and now an Omni Slash in the back line, finding two heroes. Chasing down this Underlord. Underlord trying to pop that Dark Rift. Do they have the damage to kill him during that? The laser goes forward. The man is trying to get Razor. Will he escape? No! Uber showed up just a little bit late. That's definitely going to cut into his tip, and a massive team fight in favor of TI. Chaos Knight jumping in, getting a quick pick, but unfortunately, X-Shaw was on the ball, throwing down those wards, trapping him inside while Reality Rift was on cooldown. Just resulting in a very sad Chaos Knight trapped inside. Fortunately for NTP, he was able to spin away through that Disruptor kinetic field, or else he very likely would have died. He was getting chunked, but his healing ward returning him to some semblance of health, and didn't have to worry about that Chaos Knight once he got trapped inside those wards. That gold graph dipping down now for TI. It's been pretty back and forth just in this last 25 minutes, but XP probably the more significant indicator of how influential that fight will be on the next few minutes of this game, or possibly the rest of this game, as 4K XP in their favor. To take a look at what that really means, it's largely levels for the supports. Keeper still very far behind level-wise, but again, he's closing in on that Ags, and levels not really as big a deal for this hero as many others. But most of those levels likely going on the Tinker and the Jug, who were involved in most of those kills. But net worth, Juggernaut catapulting back up to the top there at 10K. He's 2K almost ahead of that Chaos Knight, and Underlord trailing right behind the Bristleback, who's had a reasonably good game. 2-1-5. That's pretty respectable. Getting very tanky, much like that Underlord is. Take a look here at the natural order. Base armor, base magic. Alright, so he's building items to help counter this, because natural order is just really, really gnarly. Your heroes get shredded, especially heroes like Shadow Shaman, who aren't really building anything other than just mana and stats. Like, once he leaves that tower, his base, he'll have 0, and he won't have any increased magic resist either, so he's going to take full damage from everything. Mainu, with his Ags now completed, means not only does he get that heal off of the Illuminate Blast, not only does he permanently have access to Recall and Blinding Light, but perhaps even more importantly, the massive vision advantage his team will be gaining from this. He'll be able to see smokes before they just as they break, thanks to the massive amount of vision he'll get. I'm trying to remember the toggle for that. Yeah, look at that. He's just walking around, basically a ward. Bigger than a ward. Actually, I think it's the same radius as a ward. No, his side radius is bigger than that. Why can't I toggle it back to both teams' vision? Uh-oh. Did we get there? No. Oh boy, forgive me for that. I messed up. I think I changed my camera hotkeys. Shoot. I'll figure it out. In the meantime, we're playing a very dangerous game of Dota. Razor, speaking of dangerous games, getting gone on by a group of heroes. He's being incredibly cautious here. He's getting loads very fast. Are they going to be able to catch him? They have the mana leak going, and I think they should be able to get this guy. Crits, and now he's stuck in that mana leak, and that's a pretty easy kill. Dark Grip, or not Dark Grip, but the Pit of Malice coming in. A great sleep, but unfortunately no real follow-up to it. Should be F1 to switch, but it looks like the Dire Toxic Idiot's going into that. Looks like I messed up my... I must have changed my hotkeys. Are going to try to contest this, I believe. Radiant are moving in that direction. They see the Dire heroes. This could be really bad. They have a kinetic field in there. Do they have the static storm as well? They might want to pop to get to sleep as well. The plasma field doing so much damage. I see PK slaughtered right after the Aegis, but man, these Radiant Heroes getting shredded. The margin's just too much. A triple kill for Tinker. Lava in serious trouble. He might get that bristle. He wants to get that bristle, wants to get something, but he can't. They get nothing. An ultra kill for De Bruyne. And they're on the prowl for this Elder Titan meet. Again, I'm going to change that. It's not letting me switch.
Radiant's middle tower.
Frustrating. Again, I'm super sorry for having done this.
Radiant's middle tower is not safe. Radiant has reinforced their structures.
Well, hopefully it'll be fixed for the next game if I can't figure it out this game. It's not allowing me to change all these camera positions, but a nice sleep from this Elder Titan. The Dire, now with a massive 6k gold lead, just fighting into the pit against all those Tinker marches was just devastating, and that's what we thought about earlier. That Tinker, once he started really getting involved, things got risky.
Smart money.
I've ruined Dota. Wish there was a manual way for me to do it, but it doesn't appear that there is. Well, I'll do my best, and during this downtime I am going to try to figure things out, but it's looking pretty good for the Dire all of a sudden. It was kind of close. It was really close for so long in that Roche fight. It looked like it could have been the dream for the Radiant, right? You have the kinetic field, the static storm, the beautiful stomp, but those Tinker marches, man, just that stuff adds up. When you look at that ability, if you're not in the know, you just think, oh, 40 damage, that's nothing. But that's 40 damage over a million of those little things. Look at Lava, too, getting so low from that. A BKB now bought on him will prevent something like that from happening in the next team fight. But until then, they're going to be kicking themselves after what happened there. Like some battle lines being drawn by the Radiant. They are smoked up on a few of their heroes. Will they find some Dire heroes? They just might. They might come up right behind them, but it looks like the Dire are looking for that Underlord. But now they find the Shadow Shaman in the back line. He's all by his lonesome, going to get slaughtered down there. They turn and try to fight the Beacon, be immediately popped by Lava. He has his Drain available, but hasn't used it just yet. Omni/online for that Juggernaut. They need to be careful. The Plasma Cube flying out. Bristle trying to slow up this Disruptor. He has a kinetic field to try to protect himself. He throws it down, but I don't think it's going to matter. The laser and a couple right clicks should be enough. The Echo Stomp does put that Bristle back to sleep, but he's getting drained up. Razor trying to get as much as he can out of that Bristle. And man, does he get a lot. 240, 50, 60, 280 damage stolen. They manage to get this Disruptor, or do they? He's on the run trying to get this away from here. Meanwhile, D.Va does kill off Kyrix. The Yule's on a Juggernaut. He pops that. A nice sleep coming out in the back line. They're continuing to run away. Razor is here, and again with so much stolen damage, but a double kill for D.Va. I don't think they can get that Tinker, though. He will escape. Spin on Jugs. Pit of Malice, not going to trap him. Yule's coming out, though. They have an Echo Stomp too, but the Phase Boots and his just base movement speed should be able to get him away. Meanwhile, Luke probably wants to disengage off that, but his teammates are in the neighborhood. They might try to find some more, but it looks like they're going to back off after that. I'm really frustrated with myself. The hotkey is F1, but somehow it is not.
Dire just fortified their structures. Dire's middle tower is in the wrong end of business.
The Dire, after committing that Shadow Shaman wards for their defense, are possibly going to struggle a little bit. The Hex coming out. Looks like the Radiant will decide to back off. Spectator and replay controls. Spectator, Fog of War, both teams F1. That is not it. How, I wonder.
That's for me.
Camera settings.
The Juggernaut's power is doubled.
Alright, DD, we're picked up on that Juggernaut. Definitely Radiant not going to want to fight on that. Speaking of Radiant, they're starting to fall more and more behind, but they did rebound a little bit of that gold lead. It was nearly 8k in favor of Toxic Idiots, but M21 are starting to rebound a little bit. XP also coming back just a small amount, but the Dire are grouping up together. Their vision not looking too great. As they do have some okay vision here in the Radiant jungle, but it's only on this enemy shrine. So they're going to need to be really careful engaging into the other side of the map. Radiant heroes are fairly split up too, but the Dire are just grouped up as 5, except for that Tinker, who can rejoin them at any given time, and yeah, he's just going to go up to the top lane. Things are cooling down a bit. Dire are still mostly kind of congregating as a little bit of a squad. There's a lot of catch potential on the Radiant, so just moving around in such a large group does manage to prevent that from happening. You know, like they don't just get, oh man, Jugs is 5 inches away from us and has been glimpsed and silenced and shackled and maliced and whatever else might happen, or put to sleep. There's just so many different ways for them to catch those Dire heroes on the side of the Radiant, that they're going to have to be really cautious, and moving as a group is a way to prevent that from occurring. Tinker can also create pressure around the map. He's now at the top of the net worth. Speaking of pressure, 17k in his favor. That brings him to 3k ahead of any of the Radiant cores and about 4k ahead of that Razor.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
A nice D ward coming out from Disruptor.
Radiant's
Good paying
bottom
for that
tower
Sentry,
has
paying
been
for itself.
digested.
Smart money.
It was covered. My bad.
Invisibility.
Radiant's middle tower
My bad.
may
Forgive me
need a
for
hand.
that. That was a stupidly easy solution. I do have a little bit of a personal overlay that does cover some things on the screen. Lava now going in on Keeper of the Light. Slaughtered. Horse meat. And this tier 2 tower also going to be getting pretty low, but Tinker now going to be split pushing, trying to pressure this. This tier 2 tower also going to go down, so it will be a trade. Tinker was going to TP into a creep, but this creep is killed off before he's able to do that.
Was Radiant's bottom tower.
So the Radiant able to get a nice pick and a good tower, but they do lose their tier 2 in response. Things are looking pretty good.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Now the tier 2 in mid also going to be going down.
Dire's middle tower is lost.
And the Radiant starting to come back. Only 3k gold behind now. It's definitely not bad. A disastrous fight in the Roche Pit. Although it could have been worse. I want to go back to that fight for just a second. They did get the Aegis immediately.
A gift from the tempest of battle. Regeneration!
I want to take a quick look at the Juggernaut's items. Recently picking up that Aya Scotty. Could be troublesome. Now going to stick on to enemy heroes a lot more and definitely helps the catch potential that they don't really have a whole lot of. Like, they've got the Nasal Goose Slow, the Mana Leak. But otherwise, it's just Shadow Shaman stuff. And again, Radiant just have so much stuff covering, like that they can use to catch. The Echo Stomp, the Astral Spirit, even the Earth Splitter, pretty good slow. Now Roshan is back alive. It is back to that time. I don't know that the Radiant are where it's happening. The Titan Spear already sitting out with that Shaman illusion there. They might be wise to something, but this Roche dies so quickly. And it looks like they just have to give it away. They've got the Chaos Knight and the Disruptor both at the bot lane. It's going to be an Aegis for NTPK, and Kyrix likely to grab that cheese.
Taste death.
Things looking really rough. Razor did go for that axe. He's had it for a little while now.
Radiant's top tower is
Helps him kill towers really fast. Like that ult up when you're hitting towers, they just melt.
Dire's bottom tower is in turmoil.
Chaos Knight. Soul's 10-second BKB charge has a Silver Edge too. Of course, going to be excellent against the Bristleback. Although Bristle picking up that Heart of Tarrasque, they may want to go something like a Nullifier as well against him. And Nullifier would be crippling to that Juggernaut once his spin comes down, especially as he's going for a Butterfly. Although CK and Razor both not strangers to buying a Monkey King bar. But Razor going for that Heart of Tarrasque, an interesting pickup. I'd rather see him get some more damage. Sure, that last bit we saw him drain 280 damage, but I don't know. I think I just would prefer to see him get some more stuff. Tinker gonna blink away immediately, but the Yule's onto that Shadow Shaman. He's done for. Just comes out, Echo Saber, and some right clicks. Drew up that Elder Titan ult did connect onto the Jugs, and oh, they're trying to get one, but Tinker will be able to get away as Razor does not have any crowd control. But that does mean that it's going to be a little bit harder to push with that Aegis. They don't want to fight 4v5 even if they have the Aegis. Tinker, though, is just getting so huge. 21k net worth. He's got a Scythe. He's got 3k. He's got a late. He's got Aether. He's got Ags. It's going to be so difficult for them to get this. Oh, but they spot some enemy heroes on the high ground. They have a ton of catch, but is it going to be enough? Razor stealing just a morsel of damage, but going right onto this Juggernaut. Juggernaut popping his Mana Cell. He does have his ult, throws it down, but there's so many creeps around. There's so many illusions around. It's not really going to kill anybody. And he's trapped inside that kinetic field. No spin. A nice blinding light coming out from Keeper of the Light, but the lightning bolt actually killing him. He blocks the healing ward. Still alive for now. They're trying to chase him down. They get the Echo Stomp going. It's not going to connect, though. NTPK somehow still alive. His teammates doing everything in their power to save him. Excellent play from those supports. Excellent play from that Keeper of the Light. NTPK lives to fight another day. Would have lost that Aegis, but now we'll have it for the next engagement. And now that Shadow Shaman respawning in just a few seconds, they'll have the numbers that they need. TPing in, and it looks like it's TI that are going to be on the prowl looking for something else that they can find. Looking to get some vengeance on these Radiant heroes onto M21. Want to try to find some kills, but I don't know that they will. A good glimpse back. And just for good measure, Element popping that Dark Rift. Unsure of where the Dire are. They don't really have a lot of vision right now, just up here at this tier 2 that they claimed already, so it's not really helping them right now. And, I mean, most of the action was at the bot lane. It's not coming out from Elder Titan, just trying to get some farm. Wants to go for an Ags, and man, I do not remember what Ags does. Oh, it's the disarm. That could be decent. I don't know if I'm sold on it. There might be more to it than just the disarming effect. But I don't know. The disarm's not great. It does increase the slow duration a little bit, trying to get that Echo Stomp off. It does put Tinker to sleep, but that'd be optimistic to engage right there. With his heart, very tanky. A beautiful sleep. The Earth Splitter coming out too. Will they actually manage to connect on all these heroes? A nice force stab, but he still gets pulled into it anyway. He's slowed up, but they pop that healing ward, so that Elder Titan Earth Splitter just going to be healed off and amounts to nothing. Perhaps they could have tried to engage on that 3-man sleep. In fact, I think they should have, and a bit of a mistake not to. They get a nice 2-man sleep. It is also nighttime. They're getting a drain onto Bristleback. He's broken now, taking a ton of damage. The Firestorm coming in, a nice static storm, but Razor in deep by himself. His teammates aren't already taking a lot of right-click damage from that Juggernaut. He drains so much from Kyrix, but Kyrix is the one he's got to worry about. NTPK going in deep, a nice sleep, catching on to Bristleback, but so far, nothing. The Shadow Shaman does die to lava, but otherwise it's been a very uneventful engagement. However, the Omni Slash flying out just on the other side. Elder Titan gonna die. A nice bit of Malice. He still has the Aegis though. I don't know if they can fight this. The laser blinding down those illusions, killing them off. Chaos Knight trying to go in onto the Bristleback, and a good Hex coming out from the Tinker, and it looks like it's Chaos Knight Diva in serious trouble. He needs to armlet toggle, but he can't. The drain coming out from lava, and now the buybacks from 2 heroes. The Elder Titan stop, not gonna latch onto anybody, and NTP turns right around. He still has that Aegis. He's showing no fear whatsoever. He's trapped inside that static storm, able to get out now. But it's so hard for them to actually engage on the back of this. But that's the sound of the Aegis expiring, and perhaps the clarion call for the Dire to back off. It's 4v5 and there's no Aegis anymore. Cheese was consumed by Bristle. Dagon's now bought on Tinker, going to try to erase some enemy heroes. I'm still... The Axe is great for killing towers, but I would have rather seen him go like a Shiva's Guard. Just some fat armor item. Would still like to see something like that. MKB could be okay for the Razor as well. They do need some way to deal with this Jug once he gets that Butterfly, and he's not all that far off of the Butterfly. But... Code of Defiance on that Razor. Good value pickup. He's had it for a bit. I think that was like his first real item after the drums. Tinker, I don't think can kill Element. Maybe can, but Element very tanky. Pipe of Insight. 20 health regen. 69 health regen. Besides the memes, that's a lot of regen. That's 690 HP every 10 seconds. That's a lot of healing. So that Underlord, incredibly tanky, but still looking at the net worth, it's getting worse and worse for the Radiant. That last engagement forced out 2 buybacks and digging them deeper into a hole. They've only got, I mean, 10k gold behind. That's rough. And again, Chaos Knight Razor don't really play that well from behind. They don't catch up well outside of team fighting and trying to win team fights, but now just getting harder and harder to win team fights. This Juggernaut is massive. He's going to have a Butterfly soon. Tinker is just humongous. Almost, he's 8k gold ahead of your Chaos Knight. It's not where you want to be. This going to be, I mean, it's possible. They have so much crowd control, and a good Static Storm could set up for the fight of the Sentry. But the way Tinker's positioning, De Bruyne staying very far back out of the danger zone, protecting himself very, very well, and just throwing down those marches and only getting in close when he can secure a kill. Lava with his Reaver completed does have buyback for himself, but they don't have it on any other hero on their team. The only 2 heroes in the game with buyback even are Razor and Juggernaut. So if either team gets wiped, it's going to be, depending on how many enemy heroes are alive, that could be an interesting little engagement. The Gem of True Sight picked up on the Keeper of the Light functions similarly to the Night Stalker Ag's gem. Looks like a fight maybe coming. The Coddle is recalling an allied hero, and they're going into the high ground here. Coddle leading the charge. He does just serve as basically a minesweeper. A metal detector, except more like a hero detector. Shiva's Guard on the Bristleback just picked up as well. That's slow, keeping enemies in range. Tinker is going to be a huge nuisance in this tier 2. Forfeit. They can't really defend this. They throw out a Firestorm, but no, Dagon in. Laser coming out as well. They want to get Underlord, but man, he is just so tanky. It's going to be fine. Sieging up high ground is risky business. They pop the Shaman Wards though to make it a little bit less so. It's also daytime, so they have that heal. The Shiva's Guard coming out, a nice leap coming in. They have the kinetic field for zoning out this Bristleback as much as they can. TV coming in from the Chaos Knight. They need to be cautious. This tier 3 getting solo. The Firestorm flies up, a Juggernaut going in deep. The Earth Splitter flying forward, catches on a couple of heroes. And now they're going in. It's just massive damage on a Kyrex from the Chaos Knight, just chugging away with this Quill Sprays. They're doing so much. And NTPK pops his ultimate, going on 2, killing up the other Titan and the Disruptor. And now the Firestorm coming in, Kyrex getting low. They've not lost any dire heroes, and there's no buyback on either of the Radiant that have died. They're trying to get this Juggernaut, but he's very, very tanky. And the Shackle's coming out, a nice blind from the Tinker as well. Razor gonna go down, trying to get that Dark Rift off, but it's not gonna matter. They need to get Chaos Knight out of here. He doesn't have buyback. He bought back in that last fight, but Tinker pursuing, gonna blink away now that buyback comes out from the Razor and the Underlord, but this lane of Rax already getting extremely low, and NTPK is still alive. No heal, no healing ward, so he's not able to restore his team, but that's a tier 3, and not just a tier 3, but a lane of Rax. Shackle's coming out onto Razor. Do they want to continue pursuing forward? The Firestorm and the Pit of Malice zoning them out. Kyrex going in deep, getting broken now. Can take a lot of damage here. Pops his Blade Mail and a 4-second stun, but his allies are here. A nice laser blinding up Chaos Knight, and Razor himself needs to be incredibly careful. Trying to get the drain, draining a ton of damage, 280 once again, and pulling reality onto Tinker. Tinker himself getting crit down, but a nice blinding light. They just can't stick on anybody. Now the stun coming out to NTPT, 4 seconds. Will they be able to actually get him? But Chaos Knight continues to get zoned out, and Razor doing his best, but just not enough damage. And the healing ward keeping them alive. The reality of pulling back Exshal, they might finally get something. Or Willie the Whip, and he misses up high ground. They're still not gotten anybody yet. Despite so much investment, so much effort, they didn't grab any kills. And the Dire get away with effectively murder, forcing out those buybacks, and now that gold grab just like jumping off a cliff. 24k gold in favor of the Toxic Idiots. Roshan respawn too, so even larger advantage to be built up. What's worse, he has a Refresher Shard, so they could be facing down the barrel of 2 sets of Mass Serpent Wards. They have the Axe complete on the other Titan, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. They just couldn't stick. This Coddle doing so much work, and the Blind as well, preventing significant amounts of damage in MKB. If it wasn't necessary before, it is necessary now. They need to be able to deal with those blinds, but more so, they need to find a way to stick to enemies. They just can't seem to do it up against that blinding light, up against the slows, up against all of the and I mean, I think the blind is probably one of the bigger issues and one that they could more easily manage, but perhaps they need to hunt down Mainu and kill him off. The Coddle Healing Blast, the Blinding Lights, it's just so much impact. And now a 30k gold lead here at the 52-minute mark. This game has gone on for a while, but I don't know if it has much longer left. A nice Elder Titan Stomp catches on 2, but the Shaman Ward's dropped onto the tower. Does he have the Refresher Shard? He does, sitting in his inventory. He could drop the second step, but looks like he wants to save it. NTP going in onto Razor. Razor getting low. They do have the Aegis on that Juggernaut, so they need to be cautious about that. The Earth Splitter catches Jugs. Chaos Knight popping his ultimate, trying to find whatever he can. D.Va doing a ton of damage. Bounty Slash flying out, buying time for that Juggernaut. It's chunking down these illusions, but it takes time, and now Razor himself shackled up down on the low ground. He's going to go down to Static Storm, trying to buy him some time, but there's no buyback on the Razor, and D.Va himself incredibly low. They get the Aegis, but there's still a lot of heroes left. Jabroon, no, the Hex saving it for now. The Laser finishing off the Chaos Knight. The Rocket chasing down this Disruptor. He's stunned, but he's going to live the Dagon Blast, killing off the Elder Titan. Now they're going up this Rax. You know what that looks like? It's going to be GG. The Firestorm coming in, but it's just for posterity. No dire heroes are dead yet. They have a second set of Serpent Wards dropped on the tier 4s. And they're turning their attention to the throne. It looks like this first game will be going the way of Toxic Idiots after a long 53-minute struggle. It was a close match with a very back and forth for the first 30 to 40 minutes, but eventually Toxic Idiots just gained control of this game. So congratulations, Toxic Idiots, taking game 1 of this best of 3. So we have at least one more game left, but M21 definitely have some gas in the tank, definitely got some stuff to work with, and we'll see if they're able to rebound and collect their thoughts going into the next game. I can't listen to Juggernaut screaming anymore. We'll be right back with the next set of games.